I think I'll preface this video by saying up front that I don't really like sports. I didn't as a kid, and even now, I don't really follow what's going on in the sports industry. Thing is, I was raised during the tail end of the 90s where cliques were still kind of a thing. Given that I was a tiny-ass Asian kid with -5 coordination and most likely had social anxiety, the highly physical and interpersonal world of sports just wasn't my scene. Instead, I found solace in the one passion that would carry me on into adulthood: Pokemon. Now, I wish I could say that I was the sweet, quiet kid who didn't judge and loved everyone irregardless of their hobbies, but I'd be lying. In all honesty, I was one of those nerds who was quote-unquote unfairly cast out by society, who held a bitter resentment to those popular jock types who seemed to have it made. I wasn't a jerk about it, mostly because I was too terrified of people to be a jerk. But in short, I often rolled my eyes at those meathead jocks who couldn't fathom something as truly inspired as Pokemon. And all I can say now is, thank God I grew out of it. Fast forward 10-ish years and I can say with confidence that sports are A-okay. It's a respectable world with a rich history with equally respectable fans that promotes health, wellness, and personal growth. All that said, while I can certainly understand the appeal of sports from that perspective, I still tended to struggle with understanding what makes sports appealing as a form of entertainment. My ignorance as a kid told me that professional athletes are already more successful than I'll ever be, so what difference does it make whether they win this or that game? What stakes are there really? Why should I care about people coasting on their natural talent? Oh, what an absolute fool I was. So here I am, a guy in my mid-20s playing through Pokemon Shield, getting legitimately pumped up as I battled Champion Leon for his title, and I'm like, holy shit, I get it. I actually get it. Now, anybody who's ever played a Pokemon game knows about the loose parallels it has to cockfighting. But because Pokemon has always felt more controlled than that, I was always like, duh, of course it's not cockfighting. Pokemon battling in-universe is an organized competition with clearly defined rules and regulations that celebrates the very human delight of physical and mental aptitude. The very foundation of Pokemon is its focus on cooperation, strategy, and pushing one's limits beyond what was thought to be impossible. How could someone not see the appeal of something so spirited and dynamic as, oh. Now, let's backtrack a bit and go into the specifics of what makes Pokemon a spectator sport. For the record, I'm not talking about VGC, cause let's be real. The gameplay of Pokemon battling is loaded with luck, RNG, easily exploitable mechanics, and frankly, cheating. No, I'm talking about battling as a spectator sport within the Pokemon universe itself. Now, the main crux of the game is that you battle Pokemon gyms across the region to earn badges so that you can participate in the Pokemon League and become champion. And the thing is, you'd think becoming a champion at the ripe age of 10 would garner some publicity, you know? I mean, that was always implied to be the case, but I think it was only in the last couple of generations or so did Game Freak actually realize that this probably should have been a thing. I'm not just pulling this stuff out of my ass though. The anime itself has been hyping up Pokemon battling as this wildly popular sport since season 1. You've got gym leaders like Erica that have their own share of fans that are also very involved in their local communities, acting as role models for those looking to enter the professional battle circuit. Barring some of the league's more, unsavory members. But then you've got underdogs like Ash entering the league competing against hundreds like him, with like 10 times as many spectators in the audience cheering him on, an announcer guy providing the commentary, and a professional referee making the calls, and it's like, they put in these little details where they try to make Pokemon battles a legitimate sporting event, and it actually works! I could go on and on about all the technical details of what makes Pokemon battling a sport, but even I can't stand the sound of my own rambling voice for that long, so I'ma shift gears and backtrack to what this was supposed to be about. Sports culture. So this is where a lot of the human side of real-life sports comes into play that I never really noticed as a kid. To take the anime as an example again, you have the residents of Pallet Town showing off their unwavering support as 2 of its local boony kids have made it to the Indigo League. In these kinds of moments, they emphasize how being part of a pro league brings pride and recognition to their hometowns, and that's so much like how you might find fans from North Carolina showing off their support for Michael Jordan. Then you've got things like actual fan clubs for Pokemon trainers, getting scouted to appear on radio shows, and bike shop owners trying to have you advertise their products, and I'm like, wow, it's almost like sports are more than just the gameplay itself and actually promotes an interconnected social network where humans can support each other over a genuine appreciation of the game. Who'd have thought? Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that much like how I can appreciate that the culture of Pokemon is more people-oriented than you might think, I've come to realize that the sports industry is more than just arbitrary rules about hitting balls and scoring goals, and that there are very real humans involved in the games who are more than just the idealized figureheads I thought they were. I mean, in both the Pokemon world and the sports world, only a handful of people actually make it to the big leagues, and as someone who has failed more times than he'd care to admit, I can respect that the ones that do succeed got there through their grit, hard work, and a sincere passion for the game. Just take a look at all the inconsequential NPC trainers that have a Pokemon, know how to battle, but don't do so professionally. Many of these guys are just your regular office worker, artist, musician, backpacker, criminal, what have you, that simply don't have the skill or motivation for full-time battling. It's kind of like your own friends who might take up tennis as a hobby or even coach the local Little League, but they don't make a career out of it because of, well, real-life commitments. And now I think I understand why these same people get so excited about the Cubs winning the World Series or Manny Pacquiao facing off against Mayweather. They see them as extensions of their own dreams and through that sense of empathy, want to see them succeed because they know the struggle of not being able to. That's the kind of feeling I got when I played Pokemon Shield for the first time. Seeing the struggles that characters like Hop, Marnie, and Beedie, whatever, face when they get endorsements and try to make a name for themselves, and that sense of douchebaggery I felt when I crushed the dreams of these poor, innocent children, made me realize something about battles and sports that is so plainly obvious, often said, but hardly ever internalized. It's not the goal, it's the journey. Hell, with the Galar region being the closest thing we have where battling is an established sport, it just made me realize how much of a sports junkie I would be if Pokemon actually existed. Like, could you imagine marking a date on your calendar for the annual World Championship Finals, ordering the event live on pay-per-view, eating league-sponsored lava cookies with your bros, and watching with millions of fans in real time the very second where Seijun Park's Pachirisu eats up a Draco Meteor with a sliver of health? I'd be all about that shit! And that, my dudes, is how I came to the conclusion that I wasn't a nerd who used Pokemon as a means to appreciate sports, but rather, I was a sports fan all along. Hey guys, I just wanted to thank everybody who supported me on my Watamote video. It was my first go at this, and honestly, your guys' feedback was so much more than I could have expected. I hope you guys liked this video too, and if you want to see more content like this, you can show your support by giving me a like, a comment, and subscribing to my channel. Until then, I will catch you guys later. Thank you.